Alright, as you approach the bus, you want to make sure that it's level. And just look underneath and make sure there's nothing leaking or anything sleeping or trapped under the bus. Then you begin your security sweep. And I always lift the hood. Because it's easier to lift than the wheel wells with the hood up, and we have to raise it anyway. So I can just have a quick look and make sure there's nothing amiss on this side. And same on this side, just a quick glance to make sure everything looks like it's okay. It's not beginning the pre-trip yet. So after checking in the engine compartment and the wheel wells, open the fuse box, nothing out of place, nothing that shouldn't be there. Battery box, again, it's just a quick glance for anything out of the ordinary. And that's fine. And open the door and look under the seats to see if there's anything on the floor of the bus that doesn't belong. Backpack or any other kind of box or package. Yeah, check the wheel well quickly. You're just looking to see if there's anything there that shouldn't be there. Come to the back of the bus. Give another look underneath. Everything looks okay. Tailpipe. Open the door. Okay, just check the floors. Make sure there's nothing on the floor of the bus that shouldn't be there. Keep moving. Get over the bus. Another wheel well, another quick glance to make sure there's nothing that shouldn't be there. And lastly, in the fuel tank, just open it up and make sure there's nothing there. And that's the end of the external security sweep. Then you have a quick look inside. And you just walk the length of the bus and make sure there's nothing on any of the seats that shouldn't be here. And that is the full security sweep. Start up here with your fuses and wire harnesses. Make sure there's nothing loose, nothing frayed. Check your hoses here and here, and anywhere you see hoses, just make sure they're not leaking. There's another one here. Your air compressor should not have any cracks or leaks in it. The oil cap is tight. This is where you check your oil, you check your transmission fluid. If you're going to check it, you pull it out, wipe it off, put it back in, all the way down, and pull it back out and take the reading then. And put it back in to keep on going with the pre-trip. Your coolant level should be between the max and the min, which it is, not leaking. The steering arm, the power steering box, secure and undamaged, and there's no leak coming from the box. Power steering fluid is secure, undamaged, no leaks. And make sure that the level is right between min and max, which it is on this one. The frame, no welds, no damage. Everything is secure and undamaged. Hoses, more hoses, all not leaking. Your pitman arm and drag link right here, all secure and undamaged. Leaf spring hanger, the leaf springs, the axle is here, the U-bolts here, and the leaf spring hanger at the back end here. All secure and undamaged, nothing's missing. Shock absorber, not leaking, not damaged. Brake airline hose is not leaking, not damaged. Brake chamber, no leaks or damage. The slack adjuster, the cotter pin is in, less than 1 inch of play. Alright, the tie rod bar is secure, it's undamaged. Then we go inside the rim. There's no excess of rust or grease. The brake linings are inside this cover. They can't be seen, but they should not be excessively worn. Then look at the inside of the tire. There's no cuts or damage to the inside of the tire. Across the top of the tire, the tread should be evenly worn. The tread has to be at least 4/32 of an inch deep, and it cannot be a retread on the front tire. Then come down and look at the outside of the tire and make sure there's no cuts or damage there. Check your lug nuts. They should all be hand tight. Again, the rim should not have excessive rust or any grease or leaks on it. The hub is not leaking. The valve stem cap is secure. Completed this side, we walk around, we do the passenger side of the engine compartment. Over here, again, we start high and work our way down. Air filter. This gauge has to be in the green, which it is. When it gets up above the green, it's time to change, and you have to mention that to the garage. Again, we're checking the hoses. There's no leaks. Right, the serpentine belt right here should be less than 3/4 of an inch play. The fan should turn. There should be no broken fins. And the radiator, which is in here, should have no leaks or damage. Alternator is undamaged and secure. The frame, no welds or damage to the frame. Shock absorber, not leaking, not damaged. Spring leaf hanger, spring leaves. Axle U-bolt, spring leaves, and the hanger all the way back there. No damage, secure, nothing missing. The washer fluid is not leaking and at an appropriate level. Airline hose is there's no leak or cut in the hose. Brake chamber, no damage, no leaks. The slack adjuster, cotter pin is in, less than 1 inch of movement. The inside of the tire, the rim, no excessive grease or rust. The brake lining is inside this cover. It should not be excessively worn, but we can't see it. The inside of the tire, there's no signs of cuts or damage. Tire across the tread is evenly worn. The depth is at least 4/32 of an inch. The tire cannot be a retread because it's at the front. The outside of the tire, no cuts or damage. The rim, no excessive rust or grease. All the lug nuts are hand tight. And the valve stem cap are secure. Not damaged. So once you've done all that, close the hood. It's easier to close it from the front. Make sure you don't forget to secure both latches. Give it a little rattle. Back on the bus, I have started up to build the pressure. Have to wait for all the lights on the dash to cycle through. When the last yellow one has gone off, then you start the bus. While the bus is building up pressure, I'm going to check the inside of the bus, checking the backs of the seats to make sure that they're secure, and checking all the emergency exits as I go. Go. Alright, emergency window, it's clearly marked. I open the window, buzzer sounds, it opens 90 degrees. Close the window, the buzzer stops. Keep going down, checking the backs of the seats. Emergency exit, it's clearly labeled. Push up, open the handle, lift up the hatch to make sure it releases. Bring it back down, and close the hatch. Keep checking the backs of the seats. Emergency window, it's clearly labeled. Pull the handle, the buzzer sounds, open the window, it goes at least 90 degrees. Shut the window, and the buzzer stops. The emergency door, it's clearly labeled. There's no damage to this lens. The light will come on when I put the lights on later. This head protection is secure and not damaged. I pull the handle on the door, the buzzer sounds, I open the door, make sure it freely opens, close the door, push down the handle, the buzzer stops. Make sure that the jump seat pushes down and retracts, which it does. Keep checking the backs of the seats. Come to another emergency window, it's clearly labeled. Pull the handle, the buzzer sounds, window opens 90 degrees, shut the window, buzzer stops. Another emergency window, it's clearly labeled. Pull the handle, the buzzer sounds, opens 90 degrees, shut the window, and the buzzer stops. Checking the backs of the seats. Emergency exit, it's clearly labeled. Push it up, open the handle, lift up, lifts freely, pull it back down, turn the handle, and the buzzer stops. Never turn the handle when it's down like this, or it'll be a pain in the neck to put it back on. You can edit that out if you want. Keep checking the backs of the seats. Come to the last of the emergency door at the back. It's clearly labeled. The light, there's no damage to the lens. It will come on when I turn on the lights. Head cover, head protection is secure. It's not damaged. I pull the handle. The buzzer sounds. Door opens freely. Close it down. Shut the handle. And the buzzer stops. So I've checked the backs of the seats the whole way down. Now I'm going to check the bottoms of the seats. And from here I can see that there's no tripping hazard or damage to the tread in the aisle. When you're checking the bottoms of the seats, you pull from here. Not from up here at the front, but here at the back. Check that they're all properly latched. And then as you're going, you're looking to make sure that all the seat belts are buckled. Check that last seat. Now I'm going to do the static brake test. And that requires shutting the bus off. First you set your wig-wag. And shut the bus off. The bus has to be off to do this test. Alright. Let it cycle through. Alright, we're starting off with pressure at just around 120. When we push in here, it should drop, and then it should steady itself. We push in the yellow parking brake after we put our foot down on the brake pedal. So the gauges are leveling off at about 105, and they should stay steady like that. No more than 2 pounds of an inch can be lost from here for the next minute. I'm listening the whole time for air leaks. I don't hear anything, and watching the gauges. Okay, that's 1 minute. There's been no loss of pressure. No, I didn't hear any leaks. So now I'm going to begin the test of the low air warning devices. I'm going to start to pump the brakes. The first thing will happen is the wig-wag will fall at around 90 psi. And then around 60, the warning lights and warning buzzer will sound. The wig-wag at 90. And there's the warning light around 60 and the warning buzzer. The last test is to pump down, and around 30, the emergency brake will engage. And that concludes the static brake test. Then check inside the bus for your emergency equipment. Body fluid cleanup kit. It's tagged, so it's got everything in it that it should have. First aid kit is tagged, so you don't need to open it to check to see what's in there. The first aid procedures card is here. In this pouch here, there are 4 pieces of paper that must be there. They are registration, insurance card, accident seating chart, and New York State MV-104 accident report form. Put those back. We make sure we have a seatbelt cutter. Back here is where our triangles are. In this red box, there are 3 emergency triangles. Here's our fire extinguisher. It's secure. The pin is in, and it's in on the gauge. It's in the green, which means it's good. I don't know what you're. Alright, so next thing, we start the bus again. Okay, so then I'm going to put on my lights, high beams, left turn signal. I put on my master flasher, put on my destination sign, my heated mirror, then I hit the button to put on my amber lights, and I put on my four-ways. Push in the flasher in. So the first thing I'm doing while I'm sitting here, I can see my amber lights above the windshield flashing in both of the crossover mirrors. And below, I can see the front four-way lights flashing in the crossover mirrors as well. So those lights are working, and I can tell from here. Then I stand up, and I can just tell from looking in the mirror here, the big mirror on the right, I can see that light flashing. And if I look over here, I can also see that one flashing. But if you can't see it flashing, and not everybody can, you have to open the emergency window and just look out. And again, I can see it flashing from right underneath here. I'm going to go to the back of the bus to check that. As I go, I take note of the red lights on over the emergency door. And this is the emergency door. Now I'm going to open the door and lean out and check that the amber lights above and the four-ways below are all working. And they're all fine. So the next step is to go back up front and prepare to go out of the bus to check the rest of the lights from outside. Open the door with the switch. Take off the four-way. I come down, I come to the steps, check the handrails, check the tread on the step that there's nothing going to trip anybody, nothing loose. The head cushion is secure and not damaged. The step light is working and there's no damage to the lens. The seals around the door are undamaged, and the door itself, the glass and the seals around the glass are all undamaged. Go outside, watch your head around the mirrors, check that the mirror is secure and that the heated mirror element is working. Check the step, works, mud flap is secure. The crossover mirror is secure and the heated element is working. The hood is latched. Starting at the top, 3 clearance lights are all working and no damage to the lenses. The school bus sign is illuminated. There's no damage to the glass or the seal around the glass. The lenses on all the lights are undamaged and the red lights are flashing. The windshield has no damage and the seal around the windshield is undamaged. There are 2 windshield wipers and the hood is undamaged. The headlights, no damage to any of the lenses. The running light and the high beams are working and the left turn signal is flashing. There's no damage to the bumper and there is a license plate which is secure. Crossover mirror is secure. Heated mirror element is working. Come to here. This bit of the windshield, the glass is undamaged. The seal around the glass is undamaged. The number is undamaged. The mirror is secure. The heated mirror element is working. The step is working. The mud flap is secure. Open the fuse box. Check inside. Make sure there's no dangling wires. Nothing out of place. Make sure you secure the door again. Open the battery box. Make sure the battery is secure. Make sure there's no leak from the battery. And secure the door again. From here, I can see that there is no damage to any of the glass going down the side of the bus. I can also see that my 3 clearance lights are lit and the lenses are undamaged. I can see the lettering and the number along the side of the bus is undamaged. There is reflective tape running the length of the bus and that is undamaged. And there are 3 reflectors, 2 yellow and 1 red at the back. Those are undamaged. The stop sign is deployed. There's no damage to the lenses and the lights are working. The sign itself is secure. The turn signal is secure, no damage to the lens. I come here, there's an emergency window. It is clearly marked. It's surrounded by reflective tape, which is undamaged. Come along to the door. This is the emergency door. It is clearly marked and it is surrounded by reflective tape, which is undamaged. The door opens, locks in place. There's no damage to the glass on the door or the seal around the glass inside or out. The door releases and secures again. Come to here, you see the emergency window. It's clearly marked, surrounded by reflective tape, which is undamaged. Dual rear tires, evenly worn, tread is at least 2/32 of an inch. There's nothing between the duals, and there's no damage to the tires on the inside or the outside. As far as I can see, the outside of this tire is undamaged completely. These tires can be retread because they're rear tires. All the lug nuts are hand tight. There's nothing leaking from the hub. The valve stem and the valve stem cap are secure, both of them. The air canister is inflated. The mud flap is secure. From here, I can see the drive shaft. The drive shaft couplings are free of foreign objects. There's no damage, and the safety hoops are present. The brake canister is undamaged and secure from here. All right, moving on. Come to the rear stop sign. It's secure and deployed. No damage to the lenses, and the lights are flashing. The sign is secured to the bus. We come to the rear of the bus, and we start at the top. 3 clearance lights are lit, and there's no damage to the lenses. The school bus sign is illuminated. No damage to the glass or the seal around the glass. There's no damage to any of the lenses on the back of the bus. The 2 red lights are flashing. They stop the crossover lights. The tail lights are all lit, and the left turn signal is flashing, and the license plate light is lit. And the license plate itself is present and secure. All the glass is undamaged, and the seals around the glass also undamaged. The back of the bus is surrounded by reflective tape, which is undamaged. And the emergency door is clearly labeled and surrounded by reflective tape, which is undamaged. There's no damage to any of the stickers or the numbering of the back of the bus. And there are 2 red reflectors also undamaged on the back of the bus. The door opens. It locks in place. There's no damage to the seals around the door on the inside or around the glass on the door. Secure the door. And look underneath, and there's nothing loose hanging down. There's no damage to the differential, and nothing leaking from the shock absorbers. The tailpipe is free from foreign objects. From here, I can see all the glass on the side of the bus is undamaged, and the 3 clearance lights are lit and undamaged. There's reflective tape running the length of the bus, and that is undamaged, and the lettering and number of the bus are also undamaged. There are 3 reflectors, 1 red, 2 yellow or orange. They're also present and undamaged. Come to the rear dual tires. No cuts or damage to the outside of the tire. All the lug nuts are hand tight. There's nothing leaking from the hub. The valve stem is present and undamaged, and the caps, both of them, are secure. There's no excess grease or rust on the rim. From here, I can see the brake canister is undamaged, and the leaf spring and leaf spring hanger is also undamaged. I can also see the drive shaft coupling, and the safety hoops again from this side. There's an emergency exit. It's clearly labeled, surrounded by reflective tape, which is undamaged. Another emergency exit surrounded by reflective tape, which is undamaged. Come here, check that the fuel cap is secure, and it is. Making sure to secure that door again. Now I'm going to go onto the bus and switch from to turn off the high beams and switch from the left to the right turn signal. And the right turn signal is flashing. Here, the turn signal is working, and the light is undamaged and secured to the bus. And here I'm checking that the right turn signal is working. Next is to check the 3 beeps. Those are the brake lights, the backup lights, and the backup beeper. Put on the seatbelt, make sure it's undamaged, make sure it buckles. Now I'm going to test all the gauges and all the switches. Starting up here. Left fan, high, low, off. Right fan, high, low, off. Midship heater, high, low, off. Step well heater, high, low, off. Driver defrost, high, low, off. Rear heater, high, low, off. Other rear heater, high, low, off. Dome light works. The passenger dome lights are all lit. Put on some noise, hit the noise suppression switch, and that is working. Okay. Now I'm going to check my gauge temperature, transmission temperature, about 140, which is good. Water temperature, as long as it's below 200, that's good. Oil at 30 pounds pressure is good. The tachometer is steady at 700 RPMs, which is good. Speedometer is steady at 0, which is where it should be. Voltage is above 14, charging properly. Fuel tank is above 3/4, and the air pressure is about 120 on each tank. Open the door, make sure that the red flasher unit comes on. Okay, on the dash, I see my left turn signal, my right turn signal, my amber warning, and the red warning light on the dash. Check my windshield wipers, high, low, and the fluid is working. The radio. Bus 690 to dispatch for radio check, please.
Your loud and clear, the time is 11:30.
Thank you. 690 is clear. Now I've checked everything I can check on the bus without moving the bus. Put on my four-ways. I hit the horn. Shift into reverse. Have my foot firmly on the brake. Release the parking brake. I check all the mirrors, the overhead mirror and the two side mirrors. Hit the horn one more time and slowly back out of the spot. Hitting the horn to let everybody know who might be around me that I'm coming. Okay, now I'm going to do my 5 and 50 test. So I'm going to go 5 miles an hour and hit the brake within 50 feet. Put on the parking brake, give it some gas, make sure it holds. And that concludes the whole pre-trip, including the brake test.